read the pause and read the disclaimer, as seems like it becoming mandatory on YouTube in order to actually speak anything about just messing or unless you're messing around. I am here seriously. We'll be talking about DoorDash and let me turn this off. And it's concerning customers and drivers, and not just in DoorDash industry, but in all gig economy. Anybody that actually tries for a living will find something interesting here, as well as customers will be able to understand their drivers that actually come and bring out their food, as well as understand DoorDash itself and how it all operates. As you guys do know, every logo has a copyright rules and laws. That's why instead of me taking a logo from DoorDash without their permission, I decided just to go to Google, type in DoorDash, so you guys can actually just see. DoorDash are being delivered in various different ways. In very heavy condensed cities like New York, it can be delivered on foot, on a bike. If it's on foot, most likely they're using railways, or what are those called under the ground transportation, taxis. Then you have in a little bit smaller cities than New York that will be, used on bikes, scooters, as well as cars. In rural area, most all deliveries are done on a vehicle. So let's jump into their DoorDash app. The app will be looking smaller, but will have somewhat about the same look. So if you want to do it on a computer, you would actually go to DoorDash.com, and pretty much from there you'll be able to choose the type of food you're looking for and go from there. I want to actually bring a couple things to an attention, because a lot of, especially drivers, they never actually looked on the customer end and not aware what's going on. So first of all, DoorDash offers a Dash Pass, which is $10 a month, and gives you unlimited free deliveries with qualified stores. So if you go back and we click on a Dash Pass, you'll be able to see all stores that qualify for that $10 a month delivery fee. As a customer, just think about this. How can truly DoorDash charge you $10 a month, and you will do roughly about at least one order a day? That's about 30 deliveries. So how can they actually charge you $10 and pay drivers at the same time good delivery fees? When actually, if you deliver the $10.30, that's about 33 cents per delivery. First month, as you guys can see, it's free. So just keep that in mind. A lot of delivery drivers are not aware of this. Here, actually, I put it together an example of an order from Dairy Queen that is slightly under $5. And we can actually break down some of the things that actually there's fees. Hey, I just used a random address in downtown Danville. That's the area where I drive. It is a small rural area. And in future videos, I'll be breaking down more of a delivery side, as this is more kind of a customer side, to bring awareness to drivers, as well as bring awareness to customers what's actually happening behind the scenes. Something that I want to actually bring to the customer's attention. Unless you figure out a way to communicate with your delivery driver. We are prohibited to have any form of communication with you other than where would you like us to leave your order. Because if you complain to customer service at DoorDash, we are permanently and immediately get deactivated. So because of that, there is a big void between a customer and a delivery driver. We might be smiling into your face, but what is truly happening behind the scenes? What do we feel? With what kind of love we are bringing that food to you? Just keep that in mind while you're actually getting a free delivery. What stands behind that free delivery? I am not going to lie on this channel to you. I'm going to bring you facts and then let you decide how this proceeds. Because DoorDash has no interest in drivers. They have only interest in customer, and that's the reason why they'll offer anything and everything possible above, below the skies, just in order to get you. Because you, as a customer, are the one bringing the money in into the company. So you are golden. When it comes down to uh, drivers of cost, we are the one that taking money from the company. We are the ones that if they could replace us, they would replace us with a snap of, of their finger. And that's exactly what they're doing. They recently, about a month ago, that's in the month of August, is they actually cut our pay. While everything in this in United States actually went up in price, almost doubled with the last couple of months, DoorDash actually cut our pay. So keep that in mind as well. See, CEO of the company, he has no interest on solving problems that have serious problems on the app and otherwise. He has only one interest, is to keep board and investors happy. Everything else can be sacrificed. So we have an order for 454. I've been hearing from various different customers complaining that DoorDash actually inflates prices compared to their original prices from the store. I have not verified that. I cannot say that it truly does, but I wouldn't be surprised they did. A couple years back, I want to say 2014, maybe 2012, I've been asked by a certain individual that were associated with DoorDash at that time, and for which was also fired eventually, to actually look into DoorDash and especially look in certain things because she didn't feel comfortable with some things that were happening on the delivery side. So she shared a lot of things with me, and some of the things I will share with you guys throughout this series. But one of the things I want you guys to keep in mind, we're gonna go back to this list here. If it's a fast food restaurant, most likely they're buying food at about 10% below marked at the restaurant board, at the fast food board when you go in to buy. If it's a restaurant, not a fast food, they're buying that food about 20% below the menu that actually you get when you sit down at their table. So that's first form of income that they're getting. Now let's look at the delivery fee. As you guys can see, I never placed an order with DoorDash, so they're trying to get me as a customer, offer me with no strings attached, free delivery of $4. So keep that $4 in mind, because that $4 is a number which they're trying to convince you as a customer is what actually they're paying us. Is it truly That's what they're paying us? I'll can tell you no. Next, Texas. If you look at your app site, instead of 15%, they're charging you around 18 to 20% on our app side. Here, they're charging 15% to operate the website as they call it. Then you have sales tax, which that's government money. They have to collect it on behalf of the government and turn it over to the government. Doesn't matter which state you're in, it's based on the state and collectible. I have noticed also looking at the app, they're charging 7% in a state that I am in Kentucky, which is a 6% tax. Of course, there is a 1 or 2% Denville tax, unless they're including that in a delivery fee, which when I was running example on my app, I had it delivered to a town that I live in, and that town has no town tax. So they were overcharging 1% on taxes. Now, if there is a possibility that an attorney will be watching this video any of my series, I would really like to talk on a legal side. I'm not an attorney, but I do have some experience in the law, and I would actually talk to an attorney and see and challenge some questions I have within the whole operation of DoorDash. And then there's of course a small order fee of 250. You guys might say, okay, wait a minute. We can actually get rid of that 250. Yes, I can by adding doubling up or tripling up my order, and I will do that here shortly. But but I wanted you guys to actually see the fees. So delivery fee is varies for each restaurant based on your location and other factors. Here's at the bottom, you guys have also a link where you guys can click to see how the deliveries are being broken down, and then we have a total of $10.18. So first, as I promised, let's go back and double up, triple up on that same order. Hopefully that will allow me to. There it is. Can I triple up? I know on the app I can easily do that, but here doesn't look like. Oh, yeah, took me back to the same place. So let's say I add Oreo. Why it's not? So there's Oreo. Will that work? Still some kind of there it is. Did that finally go through? Yeah, it went. And we lost our shake, I guess. So let's go back and add that shake. Small strawberry. So I guess we got the order here. Let's go check out. So they have all that information. They still have that free delivery, which they're trying to convince you it's a $4 delivery fee. They still have that service fee of 15%, which on the app it's about 18 or 20%, unless something changed in the last couple of days since I checked. And estimated taxes, they no longer have the low fee. So $14. Then we have the Dasher tip, which does increase, and you have an option to tip whatever dollar amount you prefer. So right there. Here's actually the disclaimer. Here's a page to that disclaimer. So what they're saying. So the Dasher pay method, and I actually have a question. If we got rid of the delivery fee altogether and have each customer paid a tip, which would be considered a delivery fee, at least that tension that's going on between the driver and the DoorDash might actually disappear. But then again, the tension will start developing between the DoorDash and a customer, because some customer will want to actually have no tip, which means DoorDash will not deliver, and those that will not wise enough and agree to deliver, they'll be driving actually for free. So there's a base time. And in a future video, we will break down the mileage, the cost of the vehicle, and we all understand the time, because majority of the customer, they are hourly paid and they understand the time quite well, and they know they would not work for less than what they're working for. And for those that actually say maybe I would, a simple question: would you work for less than the minimum wage? A lot of drivers are working for a lot less than that. So time, distance, desirability. One thing I want you guys also to keep in mind: when DoorDash calculates time, they only calculate time from the restaurant to your house. They do not calculate time that's needed to spend at the restaurant waiting for the food to be prepared and picked up. Again, a lot of restaurants do understand drivers and then trying to have that food ready before driver shows up. But then there's become a peak time where restaurants not realistically possible for them to actually get that food prepared on time, and driver has to wait. And there's those restaurants who just doesn't care at all. So time is only the time that Google Maps will say between the restaurant and your house. So walking into the restaurant, waiting by the restaurant, or waiting for the food, not included. Get it out of the vehicle and bring the food to your porch, to your door, and hand it to you, or going up the flight of stairs to reach your apartment. None of that is included in time. Again, distance is calculated based on Google Maps. Desirability. Desirability is a part where drivers decline order because it is just not worth even starting a car to drive. The reasons might not be worth the ride, because driver is 5 miles away to the restaurant. The order pays only $2.25. There is no tip, and he knows that restaurant he'll have to spend about 20 minutes waiting for that food. So there's 5 minutes drive right there. There's 20 minutes. That's 25 minutes, and there's another 10 minutes to get it delivered to you. And typically, when a customer doesn't leave a tip, it's also an indication to a driver that customer can be problematic and actually rate that driver low, which will lead to a termination. So that's where it becomes desirability. So when there is no tip, DoorDash likes to, when a first driver declines and a second driver declines, the DoorDash eventually on the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth start adding $1 per delivery to get that delivery to a price where it becomes worth for the driver to pick that order up. So remember when we were saving $4 delivery, they're not paying us $4. Right now across the country is 225 per delivery because the remaining $1.75 they're using in various different ways to get us to take the unwanted and unwelcome deliveries. So that's based on desirability. Then we have a peak pay, and of course those that end up with those problematic customers as an unlucky drivers might be the best drivers and might have the best rating. Sometimes that one rating for that from that customer that he always tried to avoid can get him an unactivated or deactivated. Sorry. So, is it really a fair system? You guys decide. And I'll go more on the driver's side in detail. So, really appreciate customers actually taking time and follow this series because these series will help you understand a little bit more what's happening on both sides of the aisle when the food gets picked up at the restaurant. So peak pay. Sometime when DoorDash does not have enough of drivers and they need more drivers. To encourage those drivers that actually gave up on DoorDash and do not want to drive with DoorDash for whatever reason, but they're still active because of low pay. The the money is just not enough to even cover the fuel. Some people have vehicles that are leased and actually paying 20 to 30 cents per mile for over annual limit, which usually is about 12,000 a year per vehicle on your vehicle. Anything above that on the leased vehicles, dealer will charge you when you come in to trade it in between 10 to 30 cents, depends on your contract. Usually it's about 20 to 30 cents. So to get those drivers to get motivated and forget about what's going to happen later, the vehicle they're going to trade in for the paycheck. To get those drivers to forget about that, they get have an incentive, and the incentive usually goes between $1 to $5 per delivery. In my area, I have not seen incentives during peak time other than between 9 o'clock and mid of an evening and midnight. That is the only time I've seen those incentives, and it's only $1. But I have seen some places that has $2, $3. I'm not sure if I have seen $5 incentives, but I have seen on YouTube screenshots where there is $5 incentive. So those are the incentive, and also challenges. They launch a new area, and to get the drivers in that area, they'll actually send out incentive to senior drivers, so they can actually become traveling delivery drivers, where they will deliver outside of where they normally live. And of course, then is tip. Even though DoorDash claims they pay us 100% of the customer tips, unfortunately, I'm hearing rumors that that might not be true. But me personally, I have not been able to verify that with my customers as I deliver because, again, that big void between the driver and the customer. Because what if that customer complains to corporate? I will immediately get terminated. So I'm not even allowed to verify am I getting 100% of my tip. especially drives that I did yesterday, the September 17th. Most of all my deliveries were between 225 and $4. And I am surprised if tips were not stolen from there. And in the future videos, I'll explain why I ended up delivering those deliveries because DoorDash been penalizing me for not taking all the orders, and I'll explain in details in future videos. So, tips. Now, I personally would love to see tips being handled by a third company going directly to a driver where company does not see the tip amount. Maybe they would actually act a little bit differently how much truly their drivers are making instead of saying, oh, 70% of his delivery were covered by tips. No problem. He's making a decent amount of income. We should cut their pay from 325 to 225 because they're overpaid. So that becomes a total earnings. I believe in this first video, I'm not going to go down the steps how to place an order and how to use an app. I'm pretty sure you guys can figure this out. The monthly membership fee, I believe, can be found under the menu. Also, when you first sign up with the DoorDash, it's going to be on your app. The first thing they'll do, they'll try to get you involved in this membership. Um, when you go through these restaurants, pick the restaurant that you feel are the safest and healthiest. In my area, there's a couple restaurants that I would never recommend customers ordering from because it's just, I'm not going to go into the details. So um, go out, check those restaurants out, and when you receive those food, look at that food, make sure that that food is when served in a healthy manner. And again, when you do complain about food, try to complain in a way where drivers not being blamed for it. Because remember, they do need restaurants because restaurants cannot be replaced. They do need customers because customers bring the money in. But they can always use new immigrants that don't even have documents to deliver. So we as drivers can easily be replaced. So that's why a lot of times when you go in, the easiest thing that guy in customer service can do is actually blame it on a driver so he can so that driver can be deactivated and another driver can take his spot. I appreciate your time. I would also appreciate you liked the video. You subscribed and click the bell so the next video that I release. And on this channel I do have multiple series. So right now I'm having crypto series as well as DoorDash series, and I'm probably gonna add more series to come. So in the first part of the title of the video, it will say either crypto, DoorDash, or something. So pick the series that you like to watch, and I'll really appreciate you because this information needs to be shared with people, with customers as well as drivers. So I really appreciate if you could actually share my videos as well. So people can be educated and the food that they consume would actually bring them blessing. Because a lot of times when that food is being delivered with anger, that anger stays with the food and then the customer eats it. And I would not want that to continue. I would love to get this balanced where customers are happy, drivers are happy, and companies are not taking advantage of people, because the more anger that stays in the surrounding, in the environment, the more anger that somebody else's anger, somebody else's tears that we consume, it stays with us, and we are becoming those angry people that we actually consumed, and those, as well as those sorrow people that we consumed of somebody else's anger and sorrow. Keep in mind, as a driver and a customer, there's people out there that lost jobs, that are not hireable for whatever reason, maybe the illness, maybe some kind of a problem. Like example, in my situation, I used to be a CEO of the company. Right now, I'm not hireable, literally with none of these places out there that's hiring. But at the same time, it's not easy to find a job as a CEO. And turning to jobs like DoorDash is the only solution to keep food on the table. Like in my situation, I'll be honest, if I do not churn at least at 3,000 a month, and I have no problem driving for 80 to 100 hours a week to make those money. But if I don't, that means earlier or later I will lose the place I live in, and we'll have to end up living out of a car or whatever situation that comes. And I'm sure I'm not the only one out there. There's other people out there as well that are actually facing hard times. And truly, the gig economy, these kind of economies like Uber, like DoorDash, like Lyft, and a bunch of other companies, those are the places where people in hardship should churn. It should not be a permanent 50-year career, even though most of my life outside of running businesses were actually driving jobs. I have driven in my life over 3 million miles. So when it comes down to driving, I would consider myself as a professional driver in a vehicle, not a CDL type driver, in a regular vehicle driver over 3 million miles. But now it's becoming harder and harder to earn the living being a driver. And those of you that have businesses out there and you're struggling, I would really like to sit down and talk to you guys. Doesn't have to be one on one. In person, it can be done over the phone or over internet. Maybe I can help. I don't charge for the initial consultation, and then after that, understanding that a lot of businesses cannot afford me to pay me a salary or hourly, we'll come up with some kind of a deal that can pay me down the road when things get better. So I appreciate every single one of you, and I bless every single one of you. And I want this world to become a better place for all of us. And that's the only reason why I'm doing this. Because if we strive for better, if we find the balance, if we start caring about each other and stop being divided how they want to keep us divided, there is nothing out there that is impossible. We can achieve everything. Be blessed.